sounds like you all like Scratch, am I right? All right, guys, we want to bring up the super talented writer-director of Scratch. Let's welcome Paul Armstrong. And I believe the amazing, talented producer star Dan Fouts. You still here? Mr. Hanson himself. Let's welcome Dan Fouts, everyone. That mic for you right there. Smile, everyone.
It's not a Sony.
Oh. Armstone was going to explode for a second here. All right, let's kick off a little conversation here. So, Paul, let's just talk a little bit about the inspiration here, and I presume this is a smaller part of a bigger whole, maybe, possibly.
Yeah. So this idea began about 10, 11 years ago when I was in high school. I saw an episode of The Twilight Zone called The Escape Clause, which is in the first season. And I was like, I think it'd be really cool if like the devil encountered somebody that like almost escaped death instead of was like a hypochondriac. And at 17, my best idea at that point was to just steal all the dialogue from The Twilight Zone and make a really crappy film. And my friend who isn't in the movie, but he played Scratch in the original, has been hounding me for like 10 years. He's like, we can do it, we can make it better. And finally this year, out of spite, I was like, fine, F you, write this script. I wrote it as literally an F you to this guy, and I sent it around, and I sent it to Dan, and Dan was like, this is good, we should do this. And the idea is like, oh, this is like a bigger story, this could be, a feature. And so I was like, okay, let's take this small little thing and like prove that this idea can work. This time not plagiarizing The Twilight Zone, this time doing something that's kind of unique, having a depiction of the devil that kind of looks like Ozzy Osbourne, because there's a bunch of people in the world that seem to think that he basically was. So that's kind of where that came from.
Cool. All right, Dan, let's hear from Mr. Fox.
Woo!
So, Dan, with his matinee idol good looks, he's kind of the big time threat because you're an actor, you're a producer, you're a writer, you're a director. So, what part of the process do you like the most?
Yeah, so, I don't know, this is the second time Charlie and I worked together. Paul and I worked together on something. And
My friends call me Charlie because my middle name is Charles.
Paul Charles. And so this is the second time that we did something, and I want to highlight Stacy right here. Everyone give Stacy a round of applause. He came in, I approached him with this project, and he was gung-ho about it, and so he helped supply a lot of, not only a great death scene from scratch, but he also supplied a lot of the help with the props, door kick in, and all that. And I also want to recognize Jackie Hardy. She's not here, but her and her boyfriend Charlotte, they're the ones that helped the stunt coordinating, and they just did a fantastic job. They sent us. I brought them on just like, hey, can you do some stunt coordination with this? They sent us back. They're in LA, and they sent us back just a shot for shot. This is how your fight should go. And we're just like, yes, absolutely, that's how it should go.
We did exactly that.
So they were phenomenal with coming up with all the stunt choreography with that.
It was fun. The fight sequences were fun. There was kind of a little tiny bit of an Indiana Jones thing
Just
going
a fun
on.
humor. And
Yeah, it was fun.
That happened because on the
They Live,
it was like
of
the
course.
second day. The second day that came into like an idea because Dan was keep delivering a line and I looked at him and I was like, Dan, Harrison Ford. And he was like, got it.
Got it.
All right, guys, we do have time for a few questions. And let's bring the mic out to you. Let's start all the way in the back there. Jeffrey.
Hi, I'd like to ask you how you auditioned for, or how you did your audition for stuff. Mainly I'm asking because one of my students is in your play, sorry, I'm a theater teacher, in your movie. And Emma is one of my students, and she has a lot of talent, and I'd like some other students to be able to do stuff like this. So how did you find her, and how do other kids find good experiences like this?
Yeah, so Emma, I found Emma because I'm friends with her dad, Lance. Okay. And Lance was our Steadicam operator, and just all around do everything guy next to our gaffer Henry, who's actually in the back there. So I remember about 8 months ago, I was sitting behind Lance at Desertscape, and Emma was with him, and I was like, Emma, I got a role for you. And she just lit up. So Emma was like, I think Emma and Stacy were the only two people that I didn't actually do an audition for. Where everybody else, I was like, all right, if we're gonna do Scratch, we gotta get Scratch right. If we're gonna do, Gareth, we gotta get Gareth right. And, Emma and Stacy, they just had it. And I took Dan's word for Stacy, because Dan has worked with Stacy before. But I'd seen Emma in so many things. Newmark, Rika Franca did a movie with Emma that I'm always forgetting the name of. It's Phase 3? Phase 3. And Newmark was actually our first AC on Scratch too. So we kind of tried to get as much of the community as we could involved, because I'm one of those guys that I'm from Utah and I think we can do really cool stuff here. It doesn't all have to be Hallmark.
Or Hallmark.
We got one right back here.
Hey, so this is kind of a double question. First off, did you take any inspiration from shows like Lucifer or Supernatural? I don't know if you've seen those. And you said you would be interested in maybe extending this into a feature. Have you thought about maybe making it into a show? Because I know I would definitely love to watch a show like this, something exotic.
Yeah, absolutely. So I am a massive Lucifer fan. I'm a novice Supernatural fan. So I remember when I first saw Lucifer, and I was like, these people get the kind of devil that I like. He's a smart ass. He doesn't really take anything too seriously. My whole philosophy is that the devil doesn't have to break a sweat, because he can just do whatever he wants. The world is a sandbox, and Lucifer got that. The conversation about whether or not it's a TV show or a movie is actually happening. Like Dan and I, we go back and forth. Like we could do, serialized episodes where almost like a freak of the week. Gareth has to like deal with a new problem, and Scratch keeps throwing him new curveballs. We're just kind of tossing that thing around because it's a lot easier to sell a feature than it is to sell a TV show when you don't have a lot of money or a network attached. So we're just trying to figure out what the audience likes and let you guys decide.
I want to give props to Tyson. He had to run off to rehearsals, but Tyson played our Scratch.
Let's hear it for Tyson. Speaking of which, you do have some other people here. You want to acknowledge them? I know you got Ryan and a couple.
Yes, I do. Ryan, he's our big strong man right here.
Way to throw facts in like Brad call. Good job, dude.
And I think, what was the character's name in the script? It was just Biggie, right?
Heavy.
Heavy.
I literally just like heavy.
We're discussing this fight scene, and I've worked with Ryan before years ago, and when he said Heavy, it's like, I know the guy, because he's just like, matching me and him together would be great.
I love the gag when you like go through a bunch of henchmen, just like nothing, and then there's always like the bigger one. I would also like to acknowledge Kaylee. She was our first AD.
Yeah, woo!
Literally the movie doesn't happen without an assistant director, so Kaylee and everybody else. We have Brittany, we have Jeremy and Ava, and my fiance Dee, and Henry, our gaffer in the back, is also our associate producer. And of course, Stacy. A lot of the magic happened because Stacy was like, yeah, this is a cool project, let's do it.
We do have time for one more. Anyone else? Guys, we want to thank you, first of all, for giving us the world premiere. This is the world premiere, so let's hear it for them. Before we let you go, what's next for this? This is dropping online pretty soon, isn't it?
Yeah, we're discussing putting it online so it's available.
Yeah, it's looking like it'll be online next Friday. You can watch it anywhere. This whole project was made for Dan's company, Film Southern Utah, which is kind of like I said, bringing, projects to Utah that are, kind of done by the community, and they can be good, and they're collaboration, and they don't have to be Hallmark. If you haven't guessed it, I'm tired of Hallmark. I like a rom-com, but I am tired of the same rom-com.
If you work for Hallmark, no offense. Guys, let's hear it for these guys one more time.